Well, folks, the spring housing market has come to a grinding halt. And today we're going to discuss several reasons why that's happening. And we're going to look at some data from Zillow that shows just how slow the market is, not only from a sales end, because demand is obviously down for some reasons we'll talk about, but also from a seller end. So the seller ends, or the sellers in general, rather, are just not selling. They're not putting their homes on the market, and that's what we're going to talk about today. You've landed on the Housing Nerd. Good morning, and thanks for joining us. This is all about housing data, raw, unfiltered, unbiased. I don't care if you buy a house, but I certainly want to help you make that decision with giving you the information you need. And comment. Let's talk about the spring housing market. And by the way, I'm a realtor and investor here in Central Ohio. I've been doing it for 7 years, and that's all I do is real estate. I'm just a normal dude who happens to like real estate and likes sharing the data with you, again, so you can help make some good decisions out there in the marketplace. All right, so sales are down. They're down in basically, and get ready for this, they're down, the number of home sales are down in every market, in every top 50 market except one market. That one market is New Orleans, Louisiana. That's right. New Orleans, Louisiana is the only market that's up year over year in home sales. And that surprised me. So I've got the top 50 list here, according to Zillow data. All these are down. And if you've got a metro you want me to take a look at today, go ahead and put it in the comments. What's up from San Antonio, Texas? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. DJ Forecast. What's up? All right. So let me give you some examples here. New York, New York, down. Compared to 2019, home sales down 26.7%. So earlier I said year over year. What I meant was 2019 compared to right now. Los Angeles, California, down 14%. You're from San Antonio. Are they on here? Yeah, down 25% compared to pre-pandemic levels. Now, year over year, we're actually up in home sales, if you can believe it, but we're coming from a time when home sales were super, super low. Here in Columbus, Ohio, we're down 12% compared to pre-pandemic. Jacksonville, Florida, down 18.6% compared to pre-pandemic. Seattle, Washington, down 23% compared to pre-pandemic. So the moral of the story is a lot of buyers just aren't buying homes like they were before the pandemic. Now, in some markets, home sales are increasing year over year, but again, we're coming from the basement. So it's easy to have an increase when you've come from the basement. But really, some of the other data I looked at that was astonishing starts with new listings of homes for sale. According to Zillow data, new listings of homes for sale were down in February of this year, down 4.7%. Let that sink in. New listings of homes for sale down 4.7% year over year. So in February of 2024, we had 299,000 homes come to market in February. In February of 2025, we had 285,000 homes hit the market. So we're actually in February actually listed less homes this year than we did last year. And why is that? Well, mainly because, and you may not want to hear this, many people don't want to hear it. 76% of all folks with a mortgage right now, of all borrowers, all mortgages, are below 5%. 76%. of all outstanding mortgages are below 5%, have a rate below 5%. 22% have a rate below 3%. Now, what are rates today? Anybody know? What are rates today? I mean, I looked at them earlier, but let me check again and see. 7.07%, according to Mortgage News Daily. So right now, we are basically under, right now we have a higher rate than we did just a few weeks ago. And there's no doubt that we are not coming down in interest rates. Sorry, had a delay here in technology. So with rates above 7%, if you have a rate at 5%, 3%, 2%. Anybody out there with a 2% interest rate? A lot of people do have a 2% interest rate. There are people with that. That basically translates into a much lower payment when in 2019, when a lot of people, let's pretend you bought your house in 2019, $233,000 was the median home price, according to Zillow. 2025, median home price, 357 grand. We all know it's gone up a lot. So if you have a rate under 5% and you pay $230,000 for your home, and now that same home is $357,000, and your rate is 7.07% versus 3%, 4%, 5%, heck, even 6%, you're not going to move. You're not going to put your home on the market. So new listings are not coming to market like a lot of people had hoped for. And that's where you're going to see the distress. You're going to see the distress in the new listings. If somebody's in a financial bind, they are going to put their home on the market. They are not going to try to hide it from the market. I mean, think about that. And tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, yeah, just tell me if I'm wrong. That's how I look at it. What's up, Steve? Steve, how you doing? I closed one at 1.99% in 2021 without points. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. 1.99%. You can only wish you got a rate like that right now, right? Huh. That's nuts. Nuts. Give me 1 minute. I'm just 1 minute. Sorry. Hmm. Huh. I'm having a technology problem, but I just switched to OBS from StreamYard, so bear with me. Bear with me, folks. All right, so back at it here. Yeah, so 1.99%, that's nuts. I don't think we'll ever see that again. Maybe we won't. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Guy had an 800 plus credit score and some equity, but yeah, it was out there. Wow. Wow. Yeah, 1.99% is nuts. And then, yeah, might as well been free for you. Right. Yeah, that's like free money, right? Free money. Woo. Man. Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, so you're going to see that distress. Like a lot of people are saying there's a massive amount of distress selling in the market. I just heard somebody, who did I hear yesterday say it? It was it must, I think it was Melody Wright. I heard an interview where she said we're seeing distress selling. And I'm like looking around going, well, if there's distress selling, new listings would be like exponentially higher. I mean, people would be fire selling their homes. Nobody in distress is going to say, you know what? I'll put my home on like a for sale by owner, but I'm never going to advertise it. Because there's this idea, I think, out there that there's like all these hidden listings, or or sellers are trying to purposely keep listings from the market. I think a lot of people look at the housing market and go, hey, I don't like the data. I don't like the fact that new listings haven't exploded and there aren't more sellers in distress. So I'm just going to say, well, there's ghost listings, or there are, or people aren't advertising their listings. I mean, get real, right? Like, are you telling me that if you had to sell something to make money in order to live and feed your family, you're going to put it only on one site and be like, I don't want to advertise my home. Give me a break. You're going to advertise everywhere you can. I mean, you're going to drop flyers from an airplane if you have to. At least that's my opinion. So I think you're going to see that distress in new listings first. And we haven't seen it. We just haven't seen it. People are locked in. That's just how it is. Here's the other reason why it's so slow right now, according to Zillow data. Good inventory crisis. That's what I wrote down. Good inventory crisis. And this kind of goes along with it, I think. You've got 1.041 million homes, according to Zillow, were available in February 2025, last month. What, 2 months ago, right? Month and a few days ago. Last year, we had 902,000 homes. So we gained some inventory. But, but, here's the problem. Is it good inventory? Is it inventory that people want? And I'll give you an example. Here in Columbus, and no one in Columbus, like, you don't hear any local realtor talk about this. I don't know why. They don't like it. They probably don't like the information, or they think sharing it with the people is going to be bad for some reason, but it's honest and it's real. In Columbus, for instance, and this is for new listings for homes under 500 grand are only up 1% year over year. But new listings of homes over $500,000 are up 20%. So you've got a lot of homes over 500 grand that are hitting the market. You don't have a lot of homes under 500 grand that are hitting the market. So where I am in Central Ohio, there's not a lot of affordable inventory for sale. There's just not. And you can see that in the inventory. There's just, if you want a home in a good area that isn't destroyed and is affordable, then it's hard to find. And the homes, by the way, that are in good areas and are in good shape and are priced even remotely correct are moving. I know, because I have listings that have gone into contract because they're good homes in good areas. They have, they're not completely destroyed. So when I look at the inventory situation, I see that we just don't have enough good listings. That's the problem. And that's the problem. And I don't really count. Somebody just made a comment about new builds. What's up, Walter? Bear with me on this technology because I'm using OBS now, and OBS is much more detailed than StreamYard. But StreamYard was junk, by the way. Walter Sobchak. Is that how you say it? I'm watching new builds outside of DFW sit and sit. Builders offering 4.99% rates. One open house realtor told me, walk down the street and please make an offer on any house. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess what are those prices? Tell me what the prices are of the houses, Walter. I want to know. What are they? New Texas new builds are struggling to sell, maybe not new builds nationally. No, I think you're right. I think you are correct, Walter. I think in many areas, new builds may be struggling to sell. Here in Central Ohio, there's not a ton of new builds right now, although I saw some permitting data that said we were number one in Columbus in the nation in permit growth since 2019. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, here we go. This gives me more data here. 450, give or take 50. Okay. So I know your median home is this, where is this? Dallas. I think the median home price there, I'm going to guess, is like in the low 300s approximately. So if that's true, uh, this sounds like more of an expensive home. I don't know. You tell me, but I think new homes in general, I'm not counting those as good affordable homes in general. A lot of them are too expensive. Plus the taxes are insane. And let's be honest, like not everybody wants to live in a brand new home. Not everybody does. So I think that is like maybe doesn't count in my eyes as far as affordable inventory. Affordable inventory to me is like in Columbus is like a 3 bedroom, 1 bath home, 1,000 square feet. Shoot, spit all over the place. 1,000 square feet. Um, and is priced in this market is priced at like $200,000 with like a little yard, maybe a garage, like a small garage, built in 1950 or 60, right? Maybe the 70s. There's a lot of those here. Little postage stamp homes from like World War II. That is a home that I could help a first-time home buyer purchase a few years ago before the pandemic for like 150 grand. But now I'm trying to help somebody buy those homes. Can't find them. Can't find them. And I think that's the problem that we're seeing in the data with home sales and the slow market. Back here I put sold and then an X through it because nobody's buying homes. A lot of that reason is there's just nothing good to buy. There just isn't. And it's because that seller who usually sells that postage stamp 3 bedroom, 1 bath home is locked out of the market. They're locked out of selling that home and buying that $450,000 new build, maybe, or going out and buying a home down in Florida or something when they retire. So right now, the only reason you're seeing those smaller homes hit the market is if somebody actually does decide to move up despite the higher rates and higher prices, or somebody dies. Like a kid inherits the house. I'm seeing those, but there's not a ton of them. So this idea that there is an explosion of inventory in the US, I'm not hearing about anybody getting deals on affordable, modest homes, not crazy homes. I'm just not hearing about it. So you tell me if you think differently. 450,000, 3.8% rate in San Antonio new build. Yeah, so like that rate is unreal. 3.5 or 3.8%. The problem is $450,000. I guess you just confirmed it. I guess you're saying this to me that a $450,000 home is not, it's over the median price. So let me ask you this, Walter. Are you seeing $300,000 homes that are 1,500 square feet down there that anybody can buy? Is that what you're seeing? In other words, a home, like for me, again, that postage stamp home was available before the pandemic. It was available before the pandemic, and it wasn't like it sat on the market forever. It would sit maybe 30 days, 25 days. I know because I used to flip them. I would flip those postage stamp homes, or I would add them to a rental portfolio or whatever. They weren't that hard to find. I could find them from wholesalers. I could find them on the MLS. I could find them by sending letters to sellers. They were kind of easy to find. But now, very tough. Very tough. Sellers in my area are certainly putting their homes on the market, but the reality is these homes are overpriced. And the majority of prospective buyers just can't afford these homes. Exactly. Yeah, I would agree. What area are you in? I am seeing, by the way, and thank you, Roca, for joining us this morning. What's up, Ghost, Ghost? Good day to you, sir. Yeah, I am seeing homes hit the market here because active inventory is up. Year over year, active inventory is up for Columbus and for the little area I live in. But it's not, it's not affordable homes. They're homes that nobody can afford. And the homes that are smaller are priced, like you say, they're overpriced. They, if they do hit the market. Um, and usually they're flips, right? A lot of times they're flips or rent, maybe the owner upgraded them somehow. But I'd like to know what area you're in, Roca, where you're seeing all that activity. Replace the pin comment. I was a dummy in 2023, bought a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, 1986, 6.5% rate, 200K, now trying to sell it. Interesting. Okay. I guess that would be considered a affordable home, right? Is that what you're trying to do? Are you having any luck? I don't know your market. I don't know San Antonio that well, but I'd be really curious to know. If that home is priced right here in Columbus or in Central Ohio, it's going to move. If it's priced right, it will move. Somebody will buy it. Hmm. Don't call yourself a dummy, by the way. I mean, you didn't know what the market was going to do. You have no idea. Shoot, there's a guy on the, I don't know if you're still on here, Steve, but there's a guy here, Steve, that, put his comment up again. This guy, I know he's local and he's a mortgage broker. And when rates got to a couple, like last week, 2 weeks ago, they got to like 6.5, maybe around there. I almost called him to do a refi on some properties. I didn't. Um, and now rates are higher. I had no idea what was going to happen. That's my point. So don't call yourself a dummy because you don't know what's going to happen with the market. No one does. You just got to, you know, try your best. Say 7 saves on Zillow, been 1 week, have up for 205,000, asking 205,000. Okay. So, wow. And that's not getting any love, huh? At $205,000. It seems like a good price. I mean, just unless it's destroyed. I'm not saying it is, but I mean that's obviously not a lot of activity. It's not. Are you listing it with a realtor or only on Zillow? Curious to know. Not to say you have to use a realtor. You don't have to, but I'm just wondering. Do you think it's the price? Is that why it's not moving? Normally in a normal market, it's price. I mean, it just is. Um, Marketing really doesn't do much when in a normal market because of the way the different sites grab all the different listings. Doesn't really matter. It really comes down to price, unfortunately. Are there a lot of homes in this price range for sale, Ghost? Or not Ghost, DJ Forecast? Are there a lot of homes for sale in that price range? I'd love to know. Whoops. With a realtor, 250 HOA. Oh, is that HOA monthly in gated community? Oh, is it a condo? Could be a condo. I don't know, but it may sound it sounds like it. No, not a condo. I mean, if you're at $205,000, you're not getting any love. But are you they have to pay 250 a month in HOA? Is that what you're saying? That's a big, I mean, that is a big chunk. At least it is when I think about it on a $205,000 house. Townhome. Ah, it's a townhome. I got you. I got you. So, and that's 250 a month, I assume. That's yeah, the problem with an HOA fee, I'll wait till you answer to make sure that it's monthly. Yeah, $250 a month. Like the problem with an HOA fee is that it doesn't I'm not saying it doesn't have any value, but it's kind of a sunk cost. Like you can't write it off. It doesn't give you any equity. It does take care of, if trash and sewer and water, if all those are included, sometimes cable or internet is included in some communities. I don't know if it is or not. But if that is all included, then maybe it's a trade. It's not a bad deal. But I mean, shoot, man, like that's an extra 250 towards the payment that doesn't really help the buyer. You know what I mean? You can't write it off. Doesn't give you equity. It's just a fee. But if you have, hopefully your realtor and you priced it right. Um, I hate to hear that you bought it a couple years ago at 200 and now you need to sell it 205. I hate to hear that, depending on how much you put down, I guess. But it is what it is, I guess. It is. I'm sorry. What did you say here? $250 monthly HOA fee would stop me from looking at a home. Sadly, HOA Karens are a thing. Sadly. Right. They can be. Yeah, there's no doubt. I remember my first house was in an HOA and they got upset because of where I put the trash cans. Right? Can't put the trash cans on the side of the house. You got to put them on the back of the house. I was like, I don't want them back there. I want them over here. And they didn't like that. But there are benefits of an HOA. They kind of keep everything, you know, dialed in as far as the looks go, I guess. But there are negatives. There are negatives. Let me go back to this comment. You're in Colorado, Ghost, huh? Everything seemed overpriced too. 125 million for Aspen, poorly constructed piece of garbage is almost comical. Yeah, Colorado, the inventory in Colorado is nuts. I don't know if it's good inventory or not, but I see Denver they have a lot of inventory, it looks like. I mean, I think they're way beyond, I don't have the data in front of me, but they're way beyond pre-pandemic levels of inventory. Again, though, you have to look at what type of inventory it is. Like if you break it down by area and by price point, which you don't see in much data, you can do it locally if you have an MLS access. It A lot of the inventory out there is not good. It's either destroyed or overpriced, um, just not, the normal starter home that you would have seen before the pandemic. I think that's the issue. A lot of people won't give those up, and rightly so. They're probably not going to. They're probably not going to give those up. I do see a lot more condos and townhomes hitting the market. So to DJ Forecast's point, he's having a problem, or they're having a problem selling their townhome. It sounds like I am seeing more townhomes and condos on the market than I did before COVID, but not a lot of detached single family houses. Wow. What else I got in here? Yeah. Anyway, well, DJ Forecast, I really hope you sell your place, man. I do. I hope you're successful, and I feel for you. Are you going to rent after this? Is that what you're going to do? Just curious. And the other question I'd ask, I don't know if you want to share this or not. You don't have to. Why why are you selling your home? I'm just curious. What's up, Chris? I've learned that destroyed is a matter of opinion as well. Good call. You're right. Destroyed is a matter of opinion. That's right. So this is another, and I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. This is another reason why the market is so slow. When you look at the Zillow data, they have the median mortgage payment at $1,800, but that's without taxes and insurance. And obviously rates now above 7% make a lot of payments unaffordable for folks. Then if you add in like the HOA at $250 a month, then you're like, I think Redfin has the payment right now at like 28 or almost $2,900 for the median home payment with taxes and insurance added in. So you add in an HOA and you're well over $3,000 a month. That's really not sustainable. But and because one of the issues I'm seeing is that only 42 of the top 300 metros are down in home price year over year. I think that's with the February data. 42 of the top 300 metros. So most metros aren't down year over year in pricing yet. However, the areas that are down are really they're really in two markets right now, and that is Florida and Texas. I mean, there are some other areas where you're seeing some price declines for a whole metro. I'm not talking like subdivision level, but metro area. But most of it's Texas and Florida. And so the affordability is not good. But a lot of that has to do with high rates and high prices. We haven't seen a massive price decline yet. Just haven't seen it. In fact, Columbus is now like trending. I think we were up 4% year over year when I looked at the latest Redfin data. We're like headed up to a record level. You can almost feel it now. People just haven't, I guess the prices aren't high enough in Columbus to cause enough pain where prices will come down. But Chris put a point up here that I want to bring up because this is important. So Chris says, I've learned that destroyed is a matter of opinion, and I agree. And here's the other reason why I think the market's so slow. And it's a great opportunity, by the way, for buyers. I don't think there's enough first-time buyers, maybe even move-up buyers, that are willing to accept a non-Instagram friendly property. And I think the Instagram effect and the FOMO Instagram effect has driven a lot of buyers to think they have to have a move-in ready, like granite countertop, new kitchen, new bathroom, amazing yard. I think that Instagram has driven this FOMO mentality that I've got to have that. So because I saw it on Instagram or Facebook from a friend or someone else, I think, who's living a better life. And so because of that, they walk past opportunities all the time that they could take off the street and add value to what they're doing with their, financial future. So let me give you an example. I know somebody that I know several people, but one person in particular, I helped buy a home here in Columbus, and they had an existing home that was a modest home. They were actually almost done paying the thing off, and they decided, they had some life changes, and they said, "Hey, I need a bigger place." So I helped them go out and look for a bigger place. They landed on something that was like the black sheep of the street. It kind of stunk, needed some work in the basement, was dirty, was empty, and it was on the market in a neighborhood where properties were moving on an average of like 10 days, 15 days. This was on the market about 25 days, I think, when we started looking at it. But you could sense that they hadn't had any offers yet. It wasn't blinged out, but and it was priced maybe 10% under 20, maybe 15% under where the other properties were priced in this neighborhood because of the condition of the home. But my client was patient and knew that he could wait. He didn't have to have that first home. So what did he do? He made a disrespectful offer on the home. And when he made the disrespectful offer on the home, it shocked the seller. It shocked the agent. And I don't think the price is low enough. If you really want an opportunity, that price needs to be so low that when the agent gets the price, they go, yikes, that's low. You want the seller to cringe. Then you know at least it's somewhat disrespectful. And you're not going to go to jail for making a disrespectful offer. So they made the offer after some negotiating, closed on the house well under what the area was price houses were going for on the street in the neighborhood. And now they're adding sweat equity to it on the weekends before they move in. And so they're, doing flooring and paint, light fixtures, stuff like that. I haven't seen it since they started working on it, but I can't wait to see it because I imagine it's going to look 10 times better. Even if they cleaned the place, it would look better. And so they got a deal. The person around the corner ended up paying probably, I don't know, 100K over what they could have if they found something that was destroyed. I think one of the problems is buyers are not they're not patient enough. They see that move-in ready house and they want it instead of looking for a home that's in distress, that needs 100,000 in work. But a home also that you can maybe move into, but it's still not all blinged out. And I think that's one of the problems we're seeing. We're not seeing those buyers buy those homes that need work for some reason, and I blame Instagram and the FOMO effect. That's my theory. You tell me if I'm right. I could be nuts. I guess it goes along with this. I don't see people willing to buy like a multifamily to live in either that much. There's a few out there, but if you really want an opportunity as a buyer, you got to do things others are unwilling to do. And if you're just hoping for a housing market crash in order to buy, you're going to be waiting forever. I'm not saying the market's going to crash, but why leave your fate up to the market that you can't control? It's crazy to me. I mean, our inventory levels are so low right now, especially for good houses, that in most markets the inventory levels are so low that you really, it could be years in some markets before affordability returns. I think a recent study I read on, was it Redfin? I think it was Redfin, said that affordability won't return in some markets for 40 years. In the Midwest, they said 40 years. In the Northeast, they said affordability may not return indefinitely. Indefinitely. So why wait for something that you can't control? Instead, go out and find a house that the seller's like, man, this house is destroyed, or it needs a lot of work. Buyers don't really like the carpeting, or they don't like the paint. It stinks. Maybe it has a basement problem. I mean, the stinkier the house, the better to me. That's where all the money is, because you make money when you buy real estate, not when you sell. So find something that stinks. Find something you can smell from the street. If you can smell that home from the street, good. That's an opportunity. It is, at least that's how I think. Let me check the comments here. What else we got? We've been searching for a home for about a 200-mile radius. Many, many homes way overpriced, sitting for well over a year and not budging on prices. Ah, Nightcry. Hey, I think I've seen you on other channels. Welcome. Yeah, that's because those people don't need to sell. They want to sell. Big difference. That's what I'm saying about this whole distress narrative. They're not they're People see new listings go up and they say, oh, it's distress. And I'm like, well, if it's distress, why would they be sitting on the market for a year with not budging on a price? If you're distressed, you're selling and you're dropping your price. Or you're not, or you don't need to sell. Either you need to sell or you want to sell. It's like Yoda, do or do not. There is no try. You either need to sell and you're like, I got to sell this thing quickly. Or you're like, you know what? I want to sell it. If somebody gives me 800 G's for the house, I'll take it. If somebody doesn't, I'll let it sit here. It doesn't cost anything to list your house, right? So you could put a house on the market and let it sit for 5 years. Doesn't matter. I think Michael Jordan had his house on the market for what, like 20 years or something? And some fool bought it, overpaid, and now he's trying to get rid of it. Because he's like, oh, this is like a lot of renovation. And he tried to rent it, I think, at like $15,000 a month or something. Or maybe more, I don't know. But same thing, like MJ didn't need to sell his house. He was like, I don't need the $10 million. What am I going to do with that? So he's like, I just want to sell, but I don't need to sell. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing need. We're not seeing need to sell. We're seeing want to sell. And that's, in the new listings will show that. When you see new listings skyrocket, I mean really skyrocket. Not 200,000 in a month or 300,000 in a month, 200,000 in a week. When you see weekly new listings at 200 grand, 200,000 units, not 200 grand, 200,000 units, then you know, oh man, people must really need to sell. And you'll see it in the listing price because it'll come out low or it'll move down quick. Like first week, no sellers or no buyers. First week, boom, down 10%. Like sell, sell, sell. Instead, you're going, the people are just kind of testing the water. I'm testing the water. I'm kicking the tires to see if anybody bites. No bites. Oh, well, I'll just leave it on the market or take it off and relist it with someone else. But yeah, I mean, you've got a big search radius. Nightcry, are you looking for properties that are destroyed or are stinky? Are you looking at expired listings? Let me ask you that. Are you doing that? And I'll ask you this. Are you driving for dollars? Aha! You got to get out there and drive for dollars, man. You got to get in the car. You got to drive the area you want to buy in. You got to write down the house numbers and the addresses of the people that, or the houses that you think, and after you do this for a little while, you'll start to understand, that house, I have a spidey sense on that house. There's weeds growing, right? Maybe there's a bunch of busted out cars in the driveway. Write them a letter. Hey, I'm Nightcry. I mean, if you put that, I don't know if that's your real name or not, but that'd be funny. Hey, my name's Nightcry. My name's Nightcry. I saw your house. I noticed your home. I live in the area. I'm looking for a home from me, or I'm looking to buy a home. Call me if you're interested in selling. Call me or text me. That's all the letter has to say. And if you mail enough of those and you do it consistently, you will find opportunities. People will call you. Now, a lot of the people may call you and tell you to leave them alone. No problem, take them off your list. But some people will call and say, let's talk. And some of those people will be serious. Some will be the want to sell, not need to sell, but you will find somebody that needs to sell. This afternoon, I'm going out to see a house locally here that called me from a letter I sent. It's a little postage stamp house, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and I got the lead. They actually called me like at 9:30 last night before I was going to bed. And they need to sell their property. They told me point blank, I need to sell this thing. I've got issues that I need to deal with. Okay. So those opportunities exist. I would encourage you to drive for dollars. Get in the car, drive. You could use Propstream. There's a link in my description below for Propstream, but that software, it's not cheap. It's like $100 a month, $110 a month. But they have a driving app where you can drive the streets and click the houses that you want to buy or you want to look at, or market to rather, sorry, and it'll save them in a list for you. And then it tracks your drive so you know where you've been. And then you can take that list and it'll show you the owner name and the owner address. And you can get, it doesn't matter if you're in a non-disclosure state or not. Texas, none of that matters. They'll still show you all the info. Or you can use a public auditor site or like the county auditor site in most counties, like where I live. They have all that data. It's all public knowledge. And you send them letters. It works. That's how I bought probably 75% of my rentals and flips are just letters. It's not, um, it takes work, but it's simple. I mean, it is simple. And if you're looking for a house to live in, I don't know if you are, Nightcry. If you're looking for a house to live in, you have an advantage over investors because a lot of people don't want to sell to an investor. They're like, I don't want to sell to an investor. I want to sell to somebody who's going to enjoy the house for their family or themselves. So that gives you an advantage that others don't have. It also gives you an advantage because you drove by the area and you know it. At least you have an idea of what it is. You're not like from California calling into Ohio going, I want to buy your house. It looks like a good area. How would you know? You're in California. But if you have driven through the area, then at least you know it. And you've seen the house. So you're like, oh, that house is, I remember that house. I like it. Or I like the area. And you do this is for anybody on this channel, listening, even on the replay, obviously. If you do this enough, you will find opportunities that others just scratch their heads and wonder, how did you get this opportunity? How did you find that deal, but I couldn't? It's because they're on the MLS. They're on Zillow, scrolling through Zillow. If I had to find a home to live in right now, if I had to relocate to San Diego, I don't care what market it was, New York, San Diego, doesn't matter. That's exactly how I would find a house. I wouldn't go on the MLS. I wouldn't look at Zillow. And there are other ways to do it. Like, I mean, you can stack different things. I go on and on about this driving for dollars because it's fantastic. It works. You can take a tax list of people that are behind in their property taxes and look at that list. And then once you go driving for dollars, you take your list of properties that you wrote down and cross reference it with the tax list. Common properties will pop up. Those are great targets. You can add in another list like divorces or people that are behind in their water bill or out of town owners. That's a great one. Anyway, that's how investors find properties, folks. And you can do it as an owner. And you don't need a realtor. I'm a realtor. You don't need me. You don't need the MLS and you don't need Zillow. Anyway, what else you guys got here? I went on and on about that. I apologize. Buy a new build, lower interest rate. I'm a disabled veteran and both of my neighbors have dogs in their townhomes. I need to get out. That's why you're selling. I get it. Well, first off, thank you for your service, sir. No doubt, thank you. And you're moving because of dogs. Wow. Okay. So you're going to go buy a new build, lower interest rate. Cool. Good for you. I wish you luck, man. I do wish you luck. And again, thank you for your service. What do you got here? Night Cry. Looking at anything with as bit of land and no HOA. Just a home for us, not investment or anything. Perfect. That's the you can definitely, Night Cry, you can definitely find a home by driving for dollars. It's a cheesy name. That's what they call it. I know. I would come up with something else, but I haven't had the time to think of it. So I'm sure there's a better name out there, but you can definitely find it. Owners will sympathize with you because you want the home as an owner and not an investor. And the other thing is, a lot of people, especially homes that are kind of messed up, if they're like if they need work, a lot of owners think they're not good enough to list. Some owners don't know where to list a home. And some owners don't want to have their home on the market because they don't want their neighbors knowing what's going on. They would rather sell to somebody off market. That happens. I mean, I've bought homes from people that tell me, I want to sell this home to you. I want to leave in the middle of the night because of whatever reason. I mean, there was one seller that had to leave because of a family issue, and they didn't want anybody to know they were selling. Okay. So there's reasons out there why people will sell off market. There are. Anyway, I would encourage you to do that. If you have any questions, my contact information is below. call me, text me, email me, whatever. I'm happy to help you through that process. I do have a video on my channel about how to do it, but it's like one of the first videos I did. It's really, really, really bad, but it is out there. Uh, Under, I think, how to buy a house, I believe, is the playlist. Anyway, I love driving for dollars. I was doing it yesterday. I'm giving Nightcry all this love, but just kind of struck me when you said you were out driving around. Problem we see around here is that homes still need 100,000 in work and are listing for 350 to 400. Yeah, agreed. I understand that. So that's why if you can't find anything but you're in a financial position to buy, if you're ready to buy and you're in the financial position and you know you want to, you have your budget and your slush fund set up and all that jazz, then to me that next step is doing something others are unwilling to do. And so everybody's over here looking at Zillow and the MLS, go way over that way. 99.99% of not only homeowners but investors will never do this because they just don't they're like, that's weird. I don't want to send somebody a letter. I know people that actually knock on doors. Like they see a house they're interested in, they go knock on the door. I don't know. If you're out in the country, you may not want to do that. Even if you're in the city, you may not want to do that. You can. I don't think there's a law against it. Somebody can just yell at you, tell you to get away. But I like letters. And I just take a yellow piece of legal pad paper, and when I was handwriting all the letters, I had a process I would use, and I would sit up at night and write these letters. And every month, my wife and I would send out like 1,000 letters. It worked. It worked. What else we got here? Ah, Ghost. Driving for dollars is a very real thing. That's how I found my unadvised graduate school off-campus home in Lexington, Kentucky a few years ago. Oh, good. Unadvertised. Good for you, Ghost. That's exactly right. Yep. I know people that drive for dollars for cars. Like, because it's weird. When I'm driving for dollars, I run into a lot of cars. I'm not going to buy these cars, but it's always interesting to see. Like, I'll run into a seller or a house where I write the address down and I'll notice a car in the driveway and it's like a 1986 Monte Carlo, which to me is pretty cool. I've seen Grand Nationals out, underneath tarps. I've always had my eye out for a uh, Evolution, a Mitsubishi Evolution, and I've seen a couple of those out driving for dollars, and I know people that actually do that to find cars that people don't want. They just have kept just in case cars, and then they go out and find those kind of rarer cars by doing that. So you can probably find all kinds of assets that way. That's awesome. I love it, Ghost. Good job. Good job. Uh-oh, you got choppy audio. Maybe I'm talking too loud. Am I the only one getting choppy audio? Apologize, guys, if the audio is choppy. First day I'm using OBS, not StreamYard. StreamYard was complete junk. Maybe OBS is too. But then DJ Forecast says you're getting good audio. Okay. Sorry, Chris. I wish it was coming in better. I'll have to recheck it. Ah, we do drive areas. We do drive areas. Okay. Good. Good. Again, if you need any help with that or any ideas, I'm not going to charge you, obviously. I just want to help. So feel free to reach out to me via email or however you want to. The contact info should be below in the description. And I'll give you any pointers I can, point you some different directions on different tools to use. And because there are ways to send those letters in mass without handwriting them. But handwriting works the best because it looks authentic, because it is authentic. Awesome. Okay, do I have anything else? Boy, this went a lot longer than I thought. It always does. Price is still high. Blah 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 blah. Buyers looking duplex. No, I think that's it. Okay. So bottom line is the market is slow. A lot of buyers aren't buying. A lot of sellers aren't listing their homes, and we need that to kind of unlock. And right now, uncertainty is driving a lot of that, right? A lot of buyers are like, geez, tariffs and the economy, they're not sure what's going to happen, so they're kind of retreating a little bit, which is understandable. But all right, that was today's live. I appreciate you joining me. Please contact me if you have any questions about real estate, see if I can help at all, point you in a different direction. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'm the housing nerd, and I'm out.